Anna was only 20 years old when she fell deeply in love for the first time. His name was Daniel. He was kind, funny, and full of dreams. They spent hours talking about the future, imagining a life together. They walked through the park, watched the stars at night, and held hands, believing that nothing could separate them. But Anna's parents did not approve of Daniel. He was from a poor family and he had no stable job. Her parents wanted a better life for her. They wanted her to marry a man who could provide for her, a man with status and a good career. Anna cried and begged them to let her be with Daniel, but they refused. "You are too young to understand," her mother said. "Love is not enough. You need security, respect, and a good home." One day, her parents introduced her to Thomas. He was 35, successful, and respected in society. He had a big house, a good job, and many connections. But Anna did not love him. She barely knew him. Despite her protests, her parents arranged the marriage. "You will learn to love him," her father said. "He is a good man." On her wedding day, Anna felt nothing but sadness. As she walked down the aisle, she imagined Daniel standing there instead of Thomas. She wished she could run away, but it was impossible. She had no choice. After the wedding, Anna moved into Thomas's house. It was big and beautiful, but it did not feel like home. Thomas was not a bad man. He treated her well, gave her everything she needed, and tried to make her happy. But she could not love him. Her heart belonged to someone else. Years passed, and Anna became a mother. She had 2 children, a boy and a girl. She loved them more than anything. She dedicated herself to raising them, giving them the warmth and love she never felt in her marriage. But at night, when everyone was asleep, she would sit by the window and think of Daniel. Was he happy? Did he ever think of her? She had no answers. She only had memories. One day, while shopping in town, she saw a familiar face. It was Daniel. He was older now, with lines on his face, but his smile was the same. Her heart raced. "Anna?" he said, surprised. "Daniel," she whispered. For a moment, time stopped. They stood there, looking at each other, remembering everything. "How have you been?" he asked. "I have a family now," she said. "And you?" "I never married," he admitted fake. "I could never forget you." Her eyes filled with tears. "I think about you every day," she confessed. He took a deep breath. "Do you ever regret it?" She looked away. "Every day." They stood in silence, knowing that nothing could change the past. Anna and Daniel stood there, lost in memories. The past had shaped them, but it had not erased their feelings. After a few moments, Anna forced a smile and said, "It was nice to see you again, Daniel." He nodded, his eyes filled with sadness. "You too, Anna. Take care." She turned and walked away, her heart heavy. That night she could not sleep. She lay in bed beside Thomas, staring at the ceiling, thinking about what could have been. Days turned into weeks, and life continued as before. Anna cared for her children, managed the house, and fulfilled her duties as a wife. But inside she felt empty. She had done everything expected of her, married well, raised a family, lived a respectable life. But she had never been truly happy. One afternoon, as she was organizing old letters and photographs, she found a small box hidden in her closet. Inside was a collection of memories from her youth. Letters from Daniel, a dried flower he had once given her, and a photograph of them together, laughing under the summer sun. She held the picture close, feeling the weight of all the years that had passed. Her daughter, Emily, walked in and saw the tears in her mother's eyes. "Mom, are you okay?" she asked gently. Anna hesitated, but then smiled. "I'm just remembering an old friend." Emily sat beside her. "You always seem distant, as if you're carrying something heavy in your heart. Are you happy, Mom?" The question caught Anna off guard. She had never spoken to her children about her past. She had always hidden her true feelings, pretending that everything was fine. But now, looking at her daughter's concerned face, she realized something. "I have a good life," she said slowly. "But there was a time when I wanted something different." Emily studied her mother carefully. "Was it love?" Anna nodded. "Yes, it was." Emily took her mother's hand. "You always taught me that love is the most important thing in life. Did you have to give up your love?" Anna sighed. "Yes, I did. And I have lived with that choice every day since." Emily squeezed her hand. "I hope I never have to do that." Tears filled Anna's eyes. "I hope so too, my dear." That night, Anna sat alone in the garden, thinking about her life. She had been a good wife and mother. She had done what was expected of her. But had she truly lived? Had she ever followed her own heart? The years continued to pass. Her children grew up, started their own lives, and left home. Thomas, now older and tired, focused on his work and social status as he always had. One evening, after dinner, Anna looked at her husband and said, "Thomas, have you ever wondered if we made the right choices?" He raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" She hesitated, then shook her head. "Nothing. Forget it." But deep inside she knew. She had spent her life being someone she was expected to be, not who she truly was. And now, in her late years, she realized that time had stolen her dreams. And yet, every night, as she closed her eyes, she saw Daniel's face. And in another life, in another world, she imagined they were still walking hand in hand, just as they had once dreamed.